Hello everyone, happy Friday. I hope you've all had an amazing week. The cryptocurrency market has been in a bit of a limbo. We've seen some pretty explosive price action out of quite a few of the cryptocurrencies that we talk about regularly here on the channel. And many of you that watch me zealously will know, or religiously, will know that Hedera Hashgraph HBAR, the HBAR token, is my largest holding because I think Hedera, in regards to this industry, is one of the most promising projects to ever come out of it. Now, with the price of Hedera having done so well and now kind of cooling off a little bit, today and in this moment, it's a perfect time to actually give you guys an update on what I think is to come and the path forward that we have ahead of us for Hedera Hashgraph. We've spoken about a number of things. We've spoken about how we like to look at the markets on a big time frame, which is the best way to look at them as an investor. And we ultimately break the markets down into 4 phases. And we've said for a long time now, and we've certainly been in an accumulative phase ourselves for Hedera, that Hedera was in phase 1, or what Wyckoff would have called your accumulation phase, and that phase 2, or the markup, the uptrend, was very much still ahead of us. And actually, we have now entered phase 2, and what I want to do in this video is look at what's next. So what to expect next? Are we going to have some sort of a pullback into resistance? Are we going to have just continuation? You know, these are some of the questions we're going to be hopefully asking and answering during the course of this video. And then we can throw in some of the price predictions that we've given based on double bottom targets and the path forward that we have ahead of us really broadly outlined, because it's important for me, certainly, having given these price predictions, to see them through, to not leave people hanging when there's a lot of uncertainty. A lot of people, I think, are worried about what's to come next, and they're kind of going, Hedera's done very well. From 4 cents at one point, it was something like 700, 800% up. Now, my average buy on Hedera is about 7, 8 cents because we've been accumulating very heavily at the top end of the sort of accumulation range that you were in. We're very happy with that. I've got an entire group of Patreons that have done well, not just on Hedera, the likes of XLM, XRP, and we've got some altcoins in there that we don't really talk about publicly. If you do want to join the Patreon, there's a link in the description. But what this video is all about is really about giving my perspective on what's to come for Hedera. And to start things off, let's just dive over to the HBAR chart. We break the markets down into 4 phases. We've said this previously, but we're going to say it again because it's so important. We do have courses on this kind of stuff as well. Markets will move in 4 phases. We've shown you lots of examples, and we're going to be re-bringing them up today. This is HubSpot. This is one we were looking at in phase 1. There was a technical pattern here that ultimately that target was met. And that helps you be right on your phase 1, so your accumulation. And then you've got a target that takes you and sees phase 2 play out. What we're really concerned about is the transitioning period that we're currently in, which is phase 1 to phase 2, and what we can now expect. Because Hedera's done well. Are we looking for a pullback? Where's that pullback likely to take us? You know, and also perhaps reassuring people that, in my opinion, it is just my opinion, you can't take this to the bank. Remember, cryptos are risky. Invest at your own peril. You know, I am all in crypto, literally from a net worth point of view, barring some assets that I have outside of the sort of crypto space, because I'm young enough to take that bet and believe in this industry enough to understand that it's going to fundamentally change the world. And actually, we haven't seen anything from a price appreciation market cap point of view for projects such as Hedera. So markets do absolutely move in these 4 kind of phases. Here's another great example. This is New York Times. And it's very common when you break out of your kind of phase 1 into phase 2, which is where Hedera is today, that you'll often get a retest of the resistance. And we'll look at where that is for Hedera. That being said, I think Hedera is a very strong chart, and you might not get a perfect retest, which is very applicable. You know, we can look at the likes of American Conductor Corporation. Again, phase 1 base. You get this sort of double bottoming as well. Also here, that target was met up here. You get a break of it, you get a retest, and then you get continuation. The main thing to focus on, ladies and gentlemen, is that this is to come for Hedera. This uptrend we still have ahead of us. We've only just verged into phase 2, and it's very common that when you break out of phase 2, you'll get a retest of the point in which you broke out from, and then continuation. Now, if that happens, that is an absolute gift horse that you do not want to look in the mouth. If you have missed out on this price appreciation thus far, there's more to come, and now it's about positioning yourselves to capitalize on that. So to go back to the HBAR chart, this is very much just phase one accumulation that's taken place. We looked at Wyckoff schematics. We looked at loads of things that sort of gave us that compounding reasoning. Also, this double bottom target is likely going to see you run to 94 cents. In my opinion, you're going to end up with a 1, 2, 3, who knows how many dollar Hedera price. Certainly $2 I think is very achievable this cycle. And I think a significant market cap as a result of all of this. Hedera, we did a video yesterday where we interviewed Brandon, the HBAR bull. We've had him on the show loads. We're going to try and give him as regular spots possible because he's got such a wealth of knowledge when it comes to HBAR. That was a completely fundamental video. We didn't really verge on price, but what we did do was speak about all the amazing things, or many of the amazing things Hedera Hashgraph is doing, and the projects are just undeniable. So do go and watch that. Go on my channel, look at yesterday's video. Doing very well, certainly for a long format interview video, but wealth of knowledge in there. So Hedera very much in accumulation that it's now broken out of, and look at all this volume that you're getting. This is really comforting to see, and you're now in phase two. So you've got this uptrend in whichever fashion it terms to be. And with crypto, these are traditional stocks like New York Times Company. With crypto, it tends to be a lot more explosive, and something more like this you've really got resembled. The question we've got to answer is, now you've broken out, are you going to get that retest before that continuation? And actually, as a base case, you somewhat want to expect that. Now, the double bottom target that we've given sees this as the crack, if you will. Really crude analogy there. You've got your left butt cheek here, you've got your right butt cheek here, and you've got this area here, and you've got this sort of key level, key point of rejection. This was previous, it's clearly a key level. Previous support, broken, flipped into resistance. This was on the BlackRock ICS money market fund getting tokenized, and then you had a lot took place there. We've covered it previously. You get a retest back to support, and then you sort of bounce off it and really clear this key level of significance. The question is, and at one point it ran to 39 cents. And we always say, we've got a lot of questions saying, when should we buy, when should we buy, when should we buy? We always typically want to buy before the move, which we've been trying to help people do, although we're not an financial advisor by any stretch of the imagination, and we don't give financial advice here. Or you want to look for a period of weakness that you can actually buy into. And that may come in the form of a retest. So this double bottom target, we looked at the likes of Alchemy Technologies. This was a double bottom, very evident. You get this breakout, and then you get this target made. So this is phase one into phase two. And we've looked at Samsara Incorporated. This is your sort of breakout. You get that retest, and then you continue in the longer journey. The important thing to remember is this is to come for Hedera, guys, this uptrend. And it's really only just started that journey of phase two. The thing to really watch out for is, are you going to have a retest of this? So I'm going to take the 30 weekly moving average off, because it's no longer going to be weekly when we drop down the time frames, and really look at this in a little bit more detail. Perhaps the daily chart is going to be a little bit too much detail, but if we look at this, are we going to get a retest here? And that's largely going to be dictated by the space as a whole, which is on fire. My honest answer is you could set up some form of continuation here, some kind of pennant that leads to continuation. You may not get a retest of this key level, this previous resistance, now flip support. It's very common that a chart will do this before seeing that continuation. Show you a very quick example through the lens of the SPY. And this is what we think Ethereum's kind of roadmap has ahead of it. You can see, and the SPY was something, by the way, those of you that watched me in certainly 2013, 23 will know we were looking at down here, using the same methods that we're applying to Hedera today. This was phase one, breakout into phase two, retest continuation. Are we going to get this for Hedera? And the honest answer that I can give you guys is, I'm not entirely sure. It's something to look out for. It's something to expect. What I am sure of is that Hedera now has phase two ahead of it. So that's really the reassuring part here, is that you've got phase two. Whether it needs to pull back to prior resistance, now flip support, before it sees that continuation, which is very common, is still largely to be seen, ladies and gentlemen. However, I do believe you're going to 94 cents, and I do think you've got a long uptrend ahead of you, which is in line with the space as a whole and where we think things are going. You can derive that from the total market caps. We can also derive that from the likes of Bitcoin dominance, where we believe that's heading, etc., etc., etc. And it walks and talks and quacks like a duck, ladies and gentlemen. It is a duck. One of the main takeaways to find comfort in is that Hedera is now in an uptrend and there's more to come. The tricky part is, are you just going to set up some sort of continuation here? If we drop right down the time frames, we're going to do a 4-hourly. You know, you could do something like this, where you set up some sort of a continuation structure and you break to the upside out of it. So you could do that here. Or are you going to have a bit of a deeper retest back to this support level and then see the continuation, which is very common when you sort of transition from phase 1 into phase 2. And this is how markets work, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we're teaching you some of this stuff. What I will do is actually show you some examples. This is my stage 2, so I keep an eye on stocks that I think are going to break out, and we'll just go through some of them. So this is Pitney Bowes, phase 1 base. You can learn all this stuff too. A breakout, a retest, and then continuation. This is phase 2, which is where Hedera's at. Adobe, again, this was your phase 1, sort of, you were stuck under. This never really slowed down once it got going until later on. And you could almost argue this was your point of breakout here. We've got the likes of Affirm Holdings, breakout, really strong breakout. Then you get the retest and continuation. So really what I'm saying is that an uptrend is now, and a phase 2 is now here, but there's always the danger of getting a pullback to here. And if you get this, even including my own bags and how happy with them I am, this would be, in my opinion, not such a bad place to load back up on the sort of retest of the point in which you broke out from. But a retest is very common. You can see it in some of these examples that we're giving you. I'll just show you a few more. We've looked at this one. American Semiconductors. We've looked at ARC's obviously breaking out now in the same sort of fashion, phase 1 into phase 2. We've got targets for ARC. You know, you can see this breakout retest. I don't want to show too many. Phase 1, you know, Hedera's got this sort of uptrend ahead of it. There is always the possibility. Robinhood was a great one. Phase 1, breakout, it came back a little bit and then saw that continuation. That actually Hedera might want to pull back somewhat. It's just something to watch out for. Iron Energy, breakout retest. Something to watch out for. Anyway, we're kind of just going all over the shop now. So phase 1 base, breakout, retest, continuation to target. So there might be, and the reason I'm showing all these just very quickly and messily, Roblox is one that we looked at recently, breaking out, breakout, retest, continuation, and Toast, a very interesting one. Anyway, I think Triumph did, again, quite well. So are you going to have, and you can see what we're showing here, once you break out of a base, you'll often retest it. Are we going to have some sort of a retest, which is going to see Hedera's price come down to these sort of levels? It's on the cards, and it actually wouldn't be a bad thing, because the important thing to remember is that you are now in phase 2 and an uptrend, and that you're going to see a price appreciation over the longer term, certainly 2025 in my opinion, on the back end of it. I would like some sort of a short, stubby retest, and then we can really get that continuation and really get this party started, start to march towards what we have a technical target for of 94 cents, and then start to look at the sort of multiple dollar ranges as we continue. So that's it from me, guys. Just want to do a bit of an interesting video sharing my thoughts on Hedera Hashgraph, the HBAR token, where its price is currently at. We've given you lots of fundamental videos this week. We're going to keep them coming. Don't worry about that. We want to do a bit of a price update. The important thing is that you've now initiated a phase 2 and uptrend. Are you going to get a retest before you see that continuation? That's the thing to watch out for. We're not entirely sure. What we've got to do is see what the charts do, see what the charts tell us, see if there's any continuation pattern setting up before things start to head for that important resistance, now flipped hopefully a support level, which is very common. A breakout and a retest is absolutely textbook, and when you're looking on these big time frames, it happens time and time again, and it could happen with Hedera. No guarantees. It's a very strong chart and just could see sort of initiation and lift off. You don't want to get caught on the sidelines like many people have been with this recent move. A lot of people, if you're following this channel, you weren't. You don't want to get caught on the sidelines. There's nothing worse than getting caught on the sidelines, ladies and gentlemen. And I can tell you that from experience. I've been here for a couple of bull markets now. Certainly 2017, I learned a hell of a lot of lessons. That's it from me, guys. Have a fantastic Friday, and I'll see you all in the next one.